Something we like to think about with the horses is treat versus reward. And there is a big difference between the two. So a treat would be that you show up at the barn and you go see your snuggly little horse and you give them kisses and you hand them a carrot and tell them how much that you miss them. They didn't do anything other than exist to receive that treat from you. A reward is something that is specifically related to a task or behavior that the horse just exhibited for you. So if you have a horse that doesn't like to go into the horse trailer and the horse loads into the trailer pretty easily, you get the door closed and you give them a goodie, that's a reward for getting into the horse trailer. If you're giving them little nibbles along the way, those are more perceived just as treats. If I stand here with my front feet in the trailer, she's going to put goodies down my mouth and I can just enjoy them without having to get all the way in the trailer. So be thinking a little bit about what the task is that you would like the horse to accomplish and then give them the reward for accomplishing that task. So one of the things that I like to think about with rewards is I do them a little bit like clicker training. I don't use a clicker. I think it's inconvenient with horses. Both of my hands are usually involved doing something. So for me to pull a clicker out would be very difficult to do. But another way that we talk about it is R+ training or positive reinforcement training. And so I start the horses out by using a key word that they get a treat when I use that word. So usually for my horse, if I say good boy, he gets a treat. Okay, not a reward, he gets a treat. Once he starts associating that good boy with the treat, that's like my clicker now. And so I start to reserve the words good boy for when he has accomplished something that I would like him to do. So the first time he picked up the canter on the right lead going down the center line, that was a difficult task for him to learn. I was able to say good boy, and he associated it with a treat, but he didn't have to slam the brakes on and get a treat shoved in his throat. I could say good boy, I could canter to the end of the center line, I could make a good transition to the trot, a good transition to the walk. He still knows that a reward is coming from that good boy, and then even though it's a delayed reward, he's still associating it. Over time, I can even go to where I give him that good boy maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the course of a ride in, let's say, a few minutes, and then when I take a walk break, he can get his reward, and he's going to associate that, and he's extremely food motivated, so it works well. So it's something to think about. You don't always have to have the reward at the exact moment that they do the right thing if you've been able to train them to a word that associates to the treat, so the treat becomes the reward, and then eventually the words become the reward. Hopefully that's not too confusing. But I do want you to really think about there's a difference between just giving a horse a treat because they're cute and cuddly and they exist and you love them versus giving them a reward, which is giving them something for a behavior that you're looking to shape, having them produce an action that you had requested, making sure that when they're getting a goodie, it's happening because they're doing something that you like. I certainly wouldn't give a treat to a horse that's standing in the stall with their ears pinned back, because then we're shaping the behavior of when you pin your ears back, I give you a goodie, that actually becomes a reward for that behavior. So something to think about there, treat versus reward. So be a little bit more mindful throughout the day as you're handling your horse, and notice the reactions and actions that you have related to what the horse is doing, what can be perceived as a reward for what they're doing, and also what are the things that are just simple treats that don't really have value behind it. So try not to be a Pez dispenser to your horse. Happy riding, everyone.